Hi, welcome back to Art with Andy. I'm Andy Morris, and today we're going to be talking about texture and the different ways you can get that in your paintings. One way you can get texture in your paintings is by using collage elements like rice papers that have a lot of fibers in them. Another way is to use Zerox copies of materials that have fibers in them. On this particular piece of paper, I also added some colored pencil work. And so this can go into a painting. Another way is you can use stencils. Now this isn't sold as a stencil, it's some decorative element that you find in places like Home Depot and other hardware stores. But I'm going to use it today and I'm going to spray some ink. This is some ink that's just thinned out a little bit. And I have it in a little spray bottle. You find these spray bottles at beauty supply stores. So when we put this pattern up here and then spray into it, we get a textured pattern on the canvas. Another way you can get texture in your paintings is by scraping paint across the canvas and letting the paint break. So I've got some paints that I just put on here. I put quite a bit on there. And then as you can see, as I drag this across, that's creating texture. Another way you can get texture is with combs and tools like these. These are actual combs, and you pick them up at dollar stores for about $1. And they make some interesting marks when you have wet paint on there, particularly through thick paint. And sometimes if the paint's thick enough, you can get them to continue the marks down through there. Now, another way to get texture when you have some fairly thin paint. If you use thick paint, this doesn't work. When you have some fairly thin paint, so actually that needs to be wetter. Always keep a spray bottle full of water handy. Always keep some paper towels handy. These are tools that you're going to use constantly. Okay, so I got my paint up there. I believe it's wet enough. And then I just take a piece of plastic wrap and I lay that into my painting. Now you probably won't be able to tell right now, but the plastic wrap is going to create some random marks and lines as the paint dries underneath there. You would leave this on there to dry. Another way to do it though, and to get texture also, is to take some plastic wrap, put it into wet paint, pick up that wet paint, and then move it to another part of the canvas. And so you're kind of using the plastic wrap as a stamp. And you can do that a few times. Each time it's gonna make less of a mark than the time before. Yet another way that you can get, let me find my foam brush. Now there's probably not too many of y'all that don't know about this yet, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because we got some beginners out there. This is bubble wrap. This happens to be small bubble wrap. And you can just paint some thinned out paint. And again, thick paint doesn't work as well with these techniques, but put some thinned out paint on it. I'm not getting very much paint. and then you just stamp it onto your canvas or paper. Like that. I don't use bubble wrap too often in my work just because everybody knows about it, and I want my paintings to be unique. But it does work to provide texture. There are lots of other ways you can create texture, and I'll be showing you some more of those in later videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, happy painting.